Hello everyone. My speech today is going to be to persuade my audience to donate their organs when they die or when someone is in need. Becoming an organ donor after death is not only an important decision for yourself, but it is also an important decision for the life that you may have the power to save. How does it feel to want something so badly but you can't have it? What if that something was something you needed to live? Well, when my grandma was in her 20s, she needed a cornea transplant. She went on an organ waiting list right away, and within 6 months she was able to find a donor that matched, and thanks to her organ donor, she can still see today. Becoming an organ donor and helping fellow Americans is very simple. Someone you know may be waiting on an organ donation list, and you could help them. What is organ donation? Arguments against organ donation and how to become an organ donor are the three main topics that I'm going to be talking about today. Organ donation takes healthy organs and tissues from one person for transplantation into another. A transplant is usually the last course of action in the treatment of a patient. If the patient consents to an organ transplant, doctors put the patient's name on a list by the United Network of Organ Sharing, or UNOS. UNOS has a database with all transplant patients awaiting organs. Organ donations usually occur for patients with kidney failure, heart disease, lung disease, and cirrhosis of the liver. If you would like to enroll as a donor, there is a process of donation which begins when people perform the simple act of indicating their consent to be a donor by enrolling in their state's donor registry. Most of this happens when obtaining or renewing a driver's license or by going online for those state registries that have an internet registration capacity. Most people also tell their family they want to be a donor so their family members can support their decision when needed. Signing up to be a donor usually takes place many years before donation becomes a possibility. At some point, a potential donor is admitted to the hospital because of illness or accident. Most donors are victims of severe trauma in the head, a brain aneurysm, or stroke. Healthcare professionals work hard and long to do everything possible to save the patient's life, while maintaining the patient on mechanical devices. To test for brain death, the medical team has exhausted all possibilities of life-saving efforts, and the patient is not responding. A physician will perform a series of tests, usually on multiple occasions, to determine if brain death has occurred. This is usually done by a neurosurgeon or a neurologist in compliance with accepted medical practice and state law. Patients who are brain dead have no brain activity and can no longer breathe on their own. Brain death is not common. Brain death is death. There are many myths about becoming an organ donor, such as organ donation is against my religion, if I agree to donate my organs, the hospital won't work as hard to save my life, I am too old to donate, or an open casket funeral isn't an option for organ donors. These are all myths and not true. If I agree to donate my organs, the hospital staff won't work as hard to save my life? That's a myth. The fact is, when you go to the hospital for treatment, doctors focus on saving your life, not someone else's. You'll be seen by a doctor whose specialty most closely matches your particular emergency. Maybe I won't really be dead when they sign my death certificate. That is also a myth. The fact is, although it's a popular topic in the tabloids, in reality, people don't start to wiggle their toes after they've been declared dead. In fact, people who have agreed to organ donate are given more tests, at no charge to their families, to determine that they're truly dead and that those who haven't agreed to organ donation. A third myth, organ donation is against my religion. Fact is, organ donation is consistent with the beliefs in most major religions. This includes Roman Catholicism, Islam, most branches of Judaism, and most Protestant faiths. If you're unsure or uncomfortable with your faith's position on donation, ask a member of your clergy. I'm under age 18. I'm too young to make this decision. That's true in a legal sense, but your parents can authorize this decision. You can express to your parents your wish to donate, and your parents can consent knowing that is what you wanted. Children, too, are in need of organ transplants, and they usually need organs smaller than those an adult can provide. A fifth myth is an open casket funeral isn't an option for people who have donated organ tissue. Fact is, organ and tissue donation doesn't interfere with having an open casket funeral. The donor's body is clothed for burial, so there are no visible signs of organ or tissue donation. For bone donation, a rod is inserted where the bone is removed. With skin donation, a very thin layer of skin, similar to a sunburn peel, is taken from the donor's back. Because the donor is clothed, and lying on his back or her back in the casket, no one can see any differences. Am I too old to donate? No one will want my organs. Fact is, there's no defined cutoff age for donating organs. The decision to use organs is based on strict medical criteria, not age. Don't disqualify yourself. Let the doctors decide at your time of death whether your organs and tissues are suitable for a transplantation and to save a life. Another myth is, I'm not in the best of health, nobody will want my organs or tissues. Fact is, very few medical conditions automatically disqualify you from donating organs. The decision to use an organ is one that certain organs are not suitable for transplantation, but other organs and tissues may be fine. Don't disqualify yourself prematurely. Only medical professionals at the time of your death can determine whether your organs are suitable for a transplant. I'd like to donate one of my kidneys now, but I wouldn't be allowed to do that unless one of my family members is in need. Well, that used to be the case. It isn't any longer. Whether it's a smart decision or you just want to help a friend or complete stranger, you can donate a kidney through certain transplant centers. If you decide to become a living donor, you will undergo extensive questioning to ensure that you are aware of the risks that go along with your decision to donate and that it isn't based on financial gain. If your kidneys are in good shape, and whether you can live a healthy life with just one kidney. Rich and famous people go to the top of the list when they're in need of a donor organ is completely false. The rich and famous aren't given priority when it comes to getting an organ transplant. It may seem that way because of the amount of publicity generated when celebrities receive a transplant, but they are treated no differently from anyone else. The reality is that celebrities and financial statuses have no correlation in organ donation. Will my family be charged if I donate my organs? Fact is, the organ donor's family is never charged for donating. The family is charged for the cost of all final efforts to save your life, and those costs are sometimes misinterpreted as costs related to organ donation. Costs for organ removal go to the transplant recipient. How to become a donor and organ donation and the benefits of organ donation is my third point. You should designate your decision on your driver's license, register with your state donor registry, sign a donor card and carry that card with you. This saves lives even when you're already gone. Organ donation and tissue donation provide a second chance at lives for thousands of people each year. You have the opportunity to be one of those individuals who make these miracles happen. By deciding to be a donor, you give the gift of hope. Hope for the thousands of individuals awaiting organ transplants, and hope for the millions of individuals whose lives could be enhanced through tissue transplants. Becoming an organ donor now seems like a no-brainer to me. Now, after I have done so much research on the topic, there are many myths about becoming an organ donor which are just not true. There are also many ways to become an organ donor, and so many great benefits. If I've learned anything from this speech, I hope that I was able to teach everyone who's watching this video that becoming an organ donor is a no-brainer and that everyone should sign up to be one and save a life. Thank you for watching.